What's up, people? One Up Punch here. So I picked up this game called DuneCrawl yesterday, January 5th, 2026, which being the new year, let's go ahead and start off strong and talk about some brand new things. The first thing is that this game was made by a developer called Alien Trap, and they made other games like Maximum Override, Apotheon Arena, Capsize, Cryptarch, Autocraft, and Gunhead are just a couple of things. And some of them had mixed reviews, others had very positive. But personally, I was looking for something different, and then DuneCrawl popped up when I played a demo of it, and that was the day before it came out. This game is a single-player, online co-op, top-down hack-and-slash shooter, and the reason why I call it that is because that's basically what it is. You're a little guy, or a creature, I'm assuming called a Poloi, and you have these other Poloi that are around with green shirts on. You'll have different encampments, you'll have different villages and other places you can go to where you could do trading with a trader or a merchant that sells you weapons and so on. And you're running around hack and slashing with your cutlass, or you could pick up guns and weapons off the ground, like a pepper box, crossbow, acidic bomb, grenade, a bazooka, which essentially fires like this larva, I think it is, and then when it explodes, it has bees that home in on people and explode on contact. They also have muskets, det packs, and a couple other weapons as well. In total, I think there's about 21 total weapons on top of getting potions that you can get that I think heal you for 3 hearts every time you drink it. And in order to unlock the new weapons, you have to find these blueprints that you would go off into this map area when you get your big crab. And that is basically the vehicle to take you where you want to go. And we'll get there here pretty soon. You actually could ride these other smaller kind of like bugs, and they are unwieldy as hell. And the reason why I say this is because they're very floaty. So if you're going to run very fast by holding the space bar, your bug will fly in a general direction because there's also ragdoll, and you'll get stuck in walls. The game does have some issues as well. Sometimes you'll get stuck in a wall. Other times the game will freeze every once in a while. I've heard people in the comment section bitch about that for quite a while. And you do have some kind of sketchy things to where it's a graphical bug, or maybe it's just the game trying to render and load up the actual level you're going into. Other times you'll have these small kind of moments to where you have wave-based attacks, to where they send these different enemies after you. And they're like a different kind of cult. They come after you and attack you with different weapons, swords, guns, some big guys with shields. They actually have different cannons you could use for your crab as well, to where they could fire like a machine gun type of volley, a more explosive cannonball, and you could shoot yourself using the DuneCrawl cannons and fire it to another area if you can't get across it. They have also these mobile towers that will charge up and hit you for a lot of damage, and they'll have stationary towers that will fire upon you. They also have their own cannons with their own type of unique cannonball. Some other mechanics is that if you hold down the right mouse button, you could target somebody, and it'll be easier to attack them with the cutlass or shoot at them directly with like a bow and arrow or a gun. This is the tutorial level. Once you destroy this ceramic thing on top of the crab, you'll actually meet the old keeper. And this is like a ghostly figure that becomes your companion throughout the entire game. And you can actually give this person commands, and they can take you to places you want to go to on the map. They'll actually load the cannonballs for you. They'll patrol the crab if like something comes and attacks it, and he'll fire a bow at them. And he could boost the crab, allow you to go faster. But once you get to the crab, you have to heal them up using this like bug gunk, which is this green goopy stuff that's on the left-hand side of the crab. Once you talk to the old keeper, they'll tell you to heal the legs, and when you grab this stuff, you'll go over to the leg and heal it, and that's how you heal the crab. I don't know if there's a time you can destroy the crab, and if the crab is destroyed, do you just die and lose the run? I'm not really sure, because when I die, my character dies, I'll spawn back on the crab, and I continue on with the mission or quest that I'm trying to do, and it might reset to the beginning. And then, before you actually start the game, you can name your crab, and I decided to call mine Crab Rave, because why not? Then you start the actual game. Fast forward a little bit into a more progressive playthrough to where I have more stuff. Right now I have a bunch of different items. I think currently I have a survivalist mask, which drops small health orbs when killed. A blasting tunic, which is whenever I press spacebar to do like a jumping dodge, it'll blow up. The other thing before I talk about the other stuff is that these are all the commands for your ghostly character. If you want them to move the crab to a destination on the map, then you'll have to highlight the arrow and he'll go straight to it. Sometimes he'll get stuck on islands, trees, rocks, and you have to move him around yourself, but he'll mainly do everything else for you. He'll load the cannonballs, fire the cannons himself, heal the crab if it's damaged, and patrol the crab if there's anything nearby, and he'll start shooting at them. On the other side of it, you have the cannonballs at the back, to where you see 2 cannonballs there. You can pick them up and load them yourself if you want to, or just have him do it for you. And then in front of it, where the eye is underneath the platform, that's where you would boost the crab using the green gunk. That allows them to go a lot faster. So if you're trying to get somebody on a chase, be using the green gunk to boost up the crab. Then you have these other types of areas on the platform itself that are like these small pedestals. That's actually where you put items that you get that you can sell to traders later for more coin. In terms of the different currency, my understanding is that coins allow you to buy other items from merchants and traders. Merchants will sell you weapons and potions, as well as grenades and any other throwables you can get, if you unlock them with the blueprints. Then the traders will allow you to sell the stuff that you don't want, and sometimes they'll sell like 4 items on these pedestals you can get for armor and talismans. Like, for example, the other stuff I was talking about, besides the survivalist mask and blasting tunic, I also have a smash claw talisman, which does melee plus 20 damage dealt, and blast shell talisman, explosive minus 20 damage dealt, so if I get hit by an explosion, I take minus 20 damage. There's another currency besides the coins called sparkfly blessings, and these are what you get from doing quests, and I think they are used for the story progression to get more. So other times there'll be quests that you can't unlock, or main stories that you can't get unless you have enough. Like, I think, for example, the first big quest would be 200 sparkfly blessings, but I'm not 100% sure if they go to anything else, like upgrading the crab or being able to get other different cannonballs. The other thing is that you'll find pieces of armor on the ground, like a wooden leg plate or something else for the crab that you can put on the leg so that it doesn't get destroyed immediately by cannonball fire. As far as I'm concerned, I think the map is pretty big as well. You have these other different areas to where you do quests that have like this exclamation point on the map. Those are like side quests or even sometimes main quest lines. And the quests can vary to different things, from escorting a merchant to another area, being able to take out these ceramic cultists that basically will take a crab and then turn it into ceramic. So when you blow up their kiln, it goes off like a nuclear bomb, which is pretty nice to see after hitting it with a bunch of cannonballs. Or going on to this like weird zoo where you're being attacked by scorpions. And they even have one to where you're racing with the nymph, which is this bug that looks like a beetle. And that becomes very unwieldy because when you hit the green goop, it makes you go faster. But if you hit a red kind of flower, it explodes and you take a lot of damage. This is the bazooka, as I was talking about earlier. When you shoot the thing, it explodes and has a bunch of bees fly everywhere in like a kind of circle. The other thing I forgot to mention with the crab is that you have your own personal shield. So when you're driving the crab around, you're able to use the shield by holding down the left mouse button. And if you're about to take a hit, you just have the shield pop up for a little while, and anything that shoots at you will just bounce off and hit them instead. But it doesn't last for that long, so you're going to have to use it wisely. Otherwise, it'll run out, and then you have to wait for a little bit of a recharge, but I don't think the cooldown's that bad. A couple other things about the crab is that you could get different cannons for your crab, so you're not firing the normal ones that just the cannonball that explodes when it hits contact. You can get ones that have like a crystal that looks like a flower that shoots a laser beam. You have another one that's rapid fire, and then maybe one that fires bees, and that's from picking it up after it's destroyed. As I said earlier, this game has some bugs, and I thought you had to come over here because it said something about a view of a waterfall. If that happens and you get stuck, just go to force respawn. It'll kill you, and you'll go right back to the actual crab and respawn. There are some issues with the freezing, as I stated earlier too, but I didn't see it very much. It'll like freeze every so often and only lasts for about a second or two, and then goes right back to normal again. I've taken VSync off, ambient occlusion off, and some other stuff as well, and that seems to have fixed it for me in general. So after putting 2.5 hours in the demo and 3 hours in the main game, what do I think about DuneCrawl? I think it's worth the money, to be honest, especially for like 20 bucks and under. There are some issues with it, but it's a big game with a bunch of decent content, with unlocking weapons and having decent amount of progression, having the different quest lines, talking to the merchants and traders to sell for a bunch of stuff, and upgrading my crab. This game has a uniqueness that I like, and it does remind me of other games I played similar to it, like Wizard with a Gun that I liked a lot. People hated that game because of the time deal where it's like 5 minutes every single time you'd go pick something up, get a bunch of different items, and then craft for other different wands or elemental bullets that you normally find. And with DuneCrawl, basically you are just this small little creature called a crab keeper, and you're going off with your crab to go and destroy all these evil bandits that are trying to mess up the world. And with your trusty ghost buddy named the Old Keeper, he's going to be with you the entire time that you go off and do your little adventures, and then you have these small quest lines or side quests that you can unlock more stuff with. And one last thing when it comes down to the map. On the map itself, when you highlight above an area, or you do like a quest like going to destroy another keeper, or to like an outpost area, there'll be a small box underneath the actual name of the place, and it'll be the item that you get. When you find that blueprint, which looks like a scroll, that is what the blueprint is. You pick that up, you could go and unlock different weapons at the merchant when you go buy some more stuff. And the very last thing before the video ends, a lot of people were saying, can this game be played as a solo? Absolutely it can. There are some issues I have with the ghostly figure that gets stuck on stuff, but it's not that big of a deal. The game does not lose its enjoyment when you play solo, but it is more enjoyable to play with friends. And that's pretty much for any game you really play. Anytime you have a bunch of different friends and you can go up to like 3 or 4 people, it does become more enjoyable than just playing a solo game. But it does not detract it if you play as a solo, if you're looking for something a little bit different. That being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been the year 2026, and you just watched DuneCrawl. Thanks for watching as per usual, and I got some other games coming up too that I definitely want to talk about, like some card games, and I'm still working on with Painted in Blood because I had an issue with Sony Vegas Pro that deleted all my footage when I tried to put it out. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.